A very good morning to all. Sorry, just a quick chat. Is this live right now? Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Can hear that. A very good morning. My name is William. I am from Emerald Publishing. I welcome all of you today in this webinar. The title of this webinar today is Media and Information Literacy Week, organized by Pustaka Negeri Sarawak in conjunction with Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2020. Today with me, our first session is with Dr. Kasia. I'm actually proud to invite Dr. Kasia for her sharing today on the title Library, Liberty, Literacy, Labyrinth. Right. Before we actually invite Dr. Kasia, allow me to share Dr. Kasia profile. Dr. Kasia is a librarian, graduated with doctorate in library science and a master in mass communication. She has more than 30 years of experience in the academic library setting. She is dedicated to serving university community by providing assistance in information skills, retrieval, research techniques. She is committed to promoting literacy in the local area by supporting reading programs and other adult education initiatives. She is all embracing knowledge about materials, research databases, circulation, and other aspects of archiving. Hence, she has wide experience working, supervising staff, and supporting library operations. By being knowledge entries together with her staff, she demystifies reference books and help find the best online databases to meet everyone's needs. Together with acquisition team, explore titles for new procurements and are proficient at researching online and in print. She has also presented in many seminars, conferences, written books, book chapters, and many articles. Dr. Kasia has worked with many years with University Technology Mara, UITM, and at this time employed as Chief Librarian at University Malaysia, UM. She helps Malaysian librarians by participating in various events together with Persatuan Pustakawan Malaysia, IFLA, and Syria K. Currently, she's also part of Malaysia Open Science Alliance Working Group on Policy. So with that, I would like to pass the floor to our first speaker, Dr. Kasia, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, William. Thank you for inviting me today. This is an honor for me to be here with everyone, the librarians especially, talking about library and literacy and of course the fake news. So I like to share, can I start sharing now? Yeah, today,
Yes,
this is an honor for me to be here with everyone. Oh, it's a bit lagging. Okay, thank you, William, again. Here is my first slide out of 66 slides that I have prepared. So I hope everybody is happily working from site, yeah, from working from the office or from home. So wherever you are, I wish you, yeah, of course, a happy Maulidur Rasul yesterday. And of course, I hope everybody is still healthy, you know, you take care of yourself, you know, so you should not be going out when you should not be going out. Yeah, thank you again to Emerald Publishing and of course to Pustaka Negeri Sarawak in conjunction with the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week. So I will speak here today about library, liberty, literacy, and labyrinth. As usual, I think when you hear this, all the L, the 4 L's, you can hear something like a rhyming, so I like to see that, people are rhyming, when they move around talking, for example, when you are young, you remember the song, Jack and Jill went up the hill and so forth. So today I like to rhyme also my topic, and let us start with the introduction. What is fake news? What is disinformation? Disinfodemic. Disinfodemic is something that we should not uh, uh, talk about when we are not in not really in a scholarly manner. When you talk about fake news, the fake news itself is about completely false content. It's a fabricated content, and then it's manipulated content, imposed content. So imagine, this is the definition was done by a group of researcher from Research Retold. So you can get this from the internet. And you're talking about, again, false stories presented as true. Why is it? It is happening? So again, I will focus on fake news itself. It's not so much about the problem, but as it is a symptom of some deeper problem, why people share fake news. So at individual level, because it's about lacking of education, maybe do not have education, or education can construct to maybe knowledge or skill, so this is quoted by Cook in 2017. And secondary is about the media literacy itself, why people are choosing media such as social media. So this is two things that I like to see at individual level is happening. That's why people are moving to fake news. So number two, the problem itself maybe lies with the contemporary information environment, the social media itself, because social media can be the source of information that is fake. People don't really take care of, maybe, for example, if you hear about a scholarly resources like Emerald is doing, all the publication or all the papers that is in the Emerald are all peer-reviewed. Peer reviewer are people with high integrity. This is the thing that when you talk about the fake and not fake, you are talking about whether it's coming from the people that understand when they are talking about fake is actually truly fake, So whether people are talking about scholarly manner, when they are talking about people with a understanding that is a peer-reviewed paper, for example, is scholarly. The scholarly is in Malay is berwasit. The foundation of scholarly itself is if I can read here from the book of Duncan Lindsay. It was published in 1978. I have this book when I'm doing my research as a PhD student. It's the publication of a social sciences actually is a human form of knowledge. Being human, you have to be true. The foundation of the librarianship itself is about the science of true form of knowledge. So librarianship itself is not away or far away from being non-fake. So, being a librarian, you are supposed to be the people that speak about truthfulness. So that's why we are talking about high impact journals, we are talking about scholarly journals, scholarly papers, scholarly publisher. That's why we have in library the selective dissemination of information. Why this is happening? The practice of selective dissemination of information, the SDI itself. Why? Because we wanted to give to the top management or people that is important in the organization a selected information that is not fake. So that's why we are doing cataloging. That's why we are doing indexing. People do not understand when they are talking to the librarian because we only capture the best, the quality information. That's why it's never happened when that 2016 happened to be the US election, and people are talking about the Russian, manipulating the data and things like that, the librarian was like, dumbfounded. We could not find the answer why people are doing that. For years and years, the librarianship of, the ALA, American Library Association, was really a very strong foundation, talking about the integrity of information. So, but still happen, people are still using that, because the social media is used, So I think we could not really blame the the librarian or any. It's the contemporary information environment itself, is in giving us the chance to do fake news. So let's talk about library. Library as a cultural gateways. The content is about symbols, about ritual, about stories and myth. It's about the power structure, the political, economics, and also the society, social, So when we organize and control our communication, thus the library become the cultural gateways that thus become the best of filter of all these disinfodemic, So information should be, treated with high integrity. That is why I want to say library as a cultural gateways, We are cultured people, all of us are cultured people. People who talk about information, the teachers, the lecturers, the people who use the libraries, the user of the libraries are cultured people. That's why we only use the best what the libraries has, okay? So again, about what are the variables that we have in the library. So some people who does not belong to the library, they only see the collection, yeah? But library also has the services, there are thousands of services I can list. For example, in University Malaya itself, we have around 56 services, that we are offering every day. But for at the moment, maybe only mostly online. Huh? So the library staff are, people who has the degree at least in library and information science, which is they must have the introduction to librarianship. Introduction to librarianship show us the best way to give good quality information. So that's why we are choosing library collection from the best publisher, such as Emerald. We are talking about people with high integrity. And of course, the thing that we are talking about, the space itself, for example, we have, for example, in the public library, we have many type of space. For example, there are soft furnitures around, so you can relax while reading, because as reading is not supposed to be like, you are having like, okay, 1 hour reading. No, actually reading should be done 24/7, because if you understand the connotation of reading, it's about reading the best quality information. So this is, something that we always took for granted, for example, because we know, we are talking about reading a book. Now, we can read people's mind. We are reading WhatsApp. I think, how many times you touch your handphone today, for example, since 6 o'clock in the morning, thousands of times. At the end of the day, actually, you are reading lots and lots of information. But whether this information are fake or not, it becomes the cultured people who understand that, you only, for example, share good information. So back to the variables. Now I'm sharing about this Winnipeg Public Library because I can see that, as a public library, the strategic goals, I have that in the red, they have one, the early literacy skills, meaning that as early as possible. As, for example, the baby, sometimes, if I understand, there are people who mention about the Israel government, as soon as knowing the people or citizen are pregnant, they put the pregnant mothers in one class, for example, a mathematics class. So the mother is learning, but of course the womb, the child that is in the womb is also learning, so that actually as early as 14 days, 2 months old in the womb, you have already learned something. So this is done, as early as possible. So not only that, you start, let's say, for example, you're sending your kids, if you have kids, for example, you're sending them at 4 years old. Maybe it's too late, but yeah, until 7 years old, they are still in a learning stages. But now you're looking at the number 2 strategic goal, the advanced digital literacy. So imagine, people in California, in US, people start as early literacy skills and at the advanced literacy skill all their life. They don't stop. They start early. They maybe as until they die. They will learn about literacy. Okay. Now we are talking about the statement of IFLA, which affirms that the library provide opportunity for everybody. The library must be recognized in the development policy framework. The librarian provide experts guidance. Who are these people? As I mentioned before, librarians should have or should be given the foundation, the correct foundation, so that when they start to share their services or their information, they know that they have the framework. They know that they have the standards. For example, the library access, for example, the Mark 21. They have the Dublin Core, for example. So these are all the standards. And of course, there are many, many other standards that are being used in the library, which is always, as I said before, these are done by the cultured people who knows how to catalog and also how to index and also how to classify in knowledge. Okay. So we are looking again at the library itself, the management component, I want to give this, a thorough check up so that everybody is on the same page when we talk about fake and also not fake. Because as a library management component, you protect your product, you protect your services, you have everything in a standardized way. You have, you have to do it with a good standards. For example, you don't just take anything on the shelf, off the shelf. You buy everything from the publisher, for example, without checking whether these are the products, the collection that you wanted to handle or to give to your community. So again, is all in all, people are talking about the librarian actually should be in the know. What is collection that they have collected to be given, to be read by the community. And what other thing? The other thing, for example, the cataloging, the acquisition, there are lots of standards in this. If I mention to you, I will not finish my talking today, there are more than 1 hour, because the thing that we are talking about people, talking about the management, all must have standards. So these library components that I mentioned here are all standards, you can check with American Library Association, you can check with IFLA, International Federation of Library Association. These are all standards, we are using all kind of standards. Okay. Next, we are talking about the liberty. Liberty itself, it means freedom. The condition that we as individual has the ability to act following our own will. What is our own will if we do not know whether we want to be good cultured people or we want to be a fake, no good people? So we choose. We have the freedom. So you choose. So you choose wisely. That means by being in the liberty, you are being in the condition of your own truth. For example, your heart matters linked with your brain, so your brain knows that this is good thing. So your heart says this is good. So that's why you are good people, cultured people. So meaning that being in freedom, you are not totally have the free will of doing anything, So being a human, you start being a human, you start being a good attention, because as if I'm not mistaken, you can read the human rights, from the US Human Rights. They are thick book, mentioning about what is human right, being human and being not human. So again, when you talk about liberty, it means about your own free will, your freedom to do the best as a human. Okay. So I will refer this to John Adams, the second president of US, mentioning about liberty cannot be preserved without general knowledge among the people. I like to put this in context with Malaysia. Malaysia as a multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural, the interaction is usually in a tidal state. So sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. People are talking about sensitive issues. If we citizens are not cultured, not knowing what to share, not knowing what to speak about, they are going to hinder the process of interracial unity, meaning that Malaysia will not be in a harmonized state. So imagine that, if we are consuming a lot of fake news, so that is the warning already. Okay. So first, it's about literacy itself. I can speak about literacy, in many perspectives. But I like to share here, because our audience here could be coming from the school level or could be coming from the university level. So you are talking about the proficiency of writing, reading. You are talking about ability of learning and so on and so forth. So if you are able to read and write, please read and write quality product, quality from the quality publisher. And this is from the Oxford English Dictionary. So if you are reading from the fake news, you are reading every day from the social media, for example, then please come back, please tell yourself, oh, this is not right. I should be looking at Emerald, collection, resources. There are more than 300 papers, okay, journals in that. So what our literacy curriculum includes, it's about tool literacy, resource literacy, and so on and so forth. But I like to highlight on the publishing literacy, the ability to produce a text or multimedia reports. Nowadays, people with the Z or the you can call the X generation of people, they know how to use all these gadgets. If you are able to use this gadget, please also make yourself able to publish things which is not fake. So again, I refer to the publication in social science written by Bronowski in 1973. He spoke about if we always feel forward for what is to be hoped. We feel about now, for the generation to come, you have already done something is good. I think down the memory lane, people will remember you that you are publishing good literacy. So this is some definition from the, for example, the ACRL, what is information literacy? Why I spoke about information literacy? Because this is what the cornerstone of librarianship, for example, how we service the people, we have, for example, 50% of our staff actually are doing information literacy, like in University of Malaya. We have 42 librarians actually involved, from semester 1 until semester 2, teaching about 4,000 students, the undergraduates about information literacy. So they should be graduated with 2 credits, okay? So they are in the understanding of how information is produced and valued, So whatever is produced that is not valued, I think it's a disgrace, you shouldn't be talking about you are producing things which is not valued, So why it's not valued? You have to understand that it's not in the, for example, in the flow of the research cycle, for example, it's not in the flow of the quality information, for example. If you understand, for example, for the publisher coming from Emerald, what are the values of paper that is produced and published in Emerald? You can see and say that actually Emerald has the flow of choosing the best papers. Okay. So again, here is I like to highlight this because Webber, she's my favorite writer actually. So she mentioned about the adoption of appropriate information behavior. Just now we are mentioning about the product itself, but now the behavior, behavior as a human behavior. We have to filter. For example, we see something coming in, our behavior, the mind and the soul and the heart, whether it connects with that quality. If it's not, maybe you should filter that out from your life actually. Okay. So this is about new humanism. I think I like to connote this, for example, when I put that in the elements of literacy, I remember these elements of the chemistry. Remember that when you learn in Form 5, I think you learn about science, biology, chemistry. You have the Cn equals to, for example, something. So I have this at least, 7 elements of literacy. It must be constructive, it must be critical, it must be confident, it must have the cognitive and have related to the civilized society. It must be there. This is not, when I mentioned about new humanism, some people found this new, but actually this is the Old Testament of humanism, okay? So now I move into the media literacy, So it's the ability to understand and know how the media works, media, lots of media. You're talking about TV, you're talking about, the video, the YouTube, So people who are in the media literate should be able to clearly describe the role of media in their life. So if you're looking a lot of, for example, not so worthy, for example, drama minggu ini or whatever, so you don't learn anything new. So perhaps you should be consciously, learn something from whatever that you have already given your time to look into. I mean, you are watching a lot of this drama. So what do you learn from this? If it's not giving you a good quality product, good quality information, I think you should, lessen that. I didn't say that you shouldn't be watching all those things. You should, but, lessen the percentage, okay? So why everyone needs information literacy skills, it helped to identify the fake news, first of all, of course, in view of my topics lah. Okay, and of course, information literate person can identify, find, evaluate, apply, and acknowledge all the information. Okay, this is something that I like to say, for example, in view of our current pandemic, how we handle information literate, how actually people can handle risk when we talk about if they are literate person, the ability to find and absorb and use information, for example, in the foreign context, which is talking about, for example, people, when you started, when I think everybody has experience of flying, for example, from one point to another point in, geographically outside Malaysia. So you have to understand the culture. They have to understand, for example, you have to bring your IC, your passport, together, because this is about managing your daily. And the risk that if you do not bring those things, you will know that, there are people who are, stopped, from entering certain country. So these are the risks that that you have to understand if you are not literate, okay? So what are the things, what else? The application of risk management in libraries, for example, access right by the user, scholarly communication, collection management, all this, you have risks, and librarians should know what are the risks when they start talking about not training their staff, for example, not doing the right preservation flow, for example, not using the right technology with the right stuff, certain stuff, for example, they are so archaic, they could not even, understand how technology works. So you have to train and retrain them now and then, regularly. So thus they can access the collection and also giving the collection, the best collection to the best people, again. So why, again, you need this. This is a key to the lifelong learning, If you do not understand a good information, for example, you do not understand how to use the computer, how to learn, learning to learn, you don't have the information skill, you don't have the library skill. Everywhere you go is you are in the anxiety. You are in a, behavior that, you are regressing from that, the truth. You are regressing from the quality information. You are pushing back, you are, step backward, to your, maybe you are entering another zone that is, I do not want to know anything. So it's just not good, so you have to see, there are open doors everywhere, if you are having a good literacy skill. So again, I have this, in my slide, talking about informed decision on appropriate technologies, the specialized and advanced computer for work and creative expression. These are used, every day. So people with the right information literacy skill, they know how to balance the attitude towards the technology, for example. So this is again about legal, ethical, about social, about politicals, So in a various way, people with a good literacy skill, they are in the best position to be a good citizen. Okay. These are shared, I have this source from scat.ihmc from US actually. What includes the ability, the ability to, for example, from the information literacy view, so you determine the extent of the information needed. For example, I just give one example on that. Once you are a librarian, for example, or maybe you are just a teacher, or maybe you're just a lecturer. If you understand the extent of the information needed by your community, by your user, by your student, so you only give certain amount of information that they can learn from one moment. You do not put everything on the whole plate. You have you should be, for example, you are eating a plate of rice. Do not put everything on the plate. You put one by one. So it is very cultured. If you are looking at cultured people eat, they have, for example, you're dining, you're dining. You do not put everything on one plate. So you have one plate for example, fish. Next plate, you have the rice. The next plate, for example, you have for example, the last one should be the kueh, So these are the things that cultured people do not put everything on one plate, So if you need a certain information, you put that, because on one point of time, so do not put everything on one go. So that is one thing that I like to highlight on this. So the next thing is about analyzing the disinfodemic. The word itself shows that it refers to the content that is false and has potentially negative impacts. These impacts can have a fatal consequences during pandemic. Okay, this is not the time to talk about, for example, you are saying that some people are saying, okay, you don't have to wear your mask, for example, you don't talk like that to people, so you should be able to say that, look, follow the SOP and you will be safe, so, and if this is the thing that we are saying to people, so this is good because this is supposed to be the thing that is we should be sharing every day. But if you do not share things which is, for example, do not sanitize, for example, your hand, for example, what happened? There are consequences. So the risk, again, I'm talking about the risk. You are giving people, you are empowering people for the things which is not good. So if information is empowering, then disinformation is about disempowering. So a fake news is not good. So those, please do not share fake news again and again. Okay. Again, people when they are, as you grow older, perhaps, or if you are reading a lot of books, actually you become wiser by the book that you read. For example, if you have the first book, you are reading about A, and you are talking about A in a life, but at the end of the day, you are talking about Z, for example. You are talking about the traditional read and write and calculate, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 example. That is the traditional literacy manner that you are reading your information. But if you look at the computer literacy, for example, you have to learn how to use the PC. So the PC operation, how to send emails, for example. This is becoming wiser. You are, for example, previously you have only books, for example. Now you are talking about the computer, the internet. So these are the things that when we talk about, being on the road to wisdom, you are moving from A to Z, for example. First day, you are talking about traditional. Second day, about computer and technology, and for example, or a groupware or database access. Next, you are talking about the information literacy. Thus, day by day, you become wiser. And this is needed, you cannot stop learning, as I mentioned earlier. So I like to share this book, The Meaning of the Library, A Cultural History. I like to also highlight that library, learning as a librarian, it's good to have the historical part of everything, especially about the information. For example, when actually the library started, for example, maybe in 260 BC, for example, you understand that there are Alexandrian library, for example. But actually, library started way back since day that, we are talking about, how to sustain our food cycle, as far back. Maybe people do not really share in those days, but they put that writings or the artifacts, you can see there are tools that used to be how to use, how to find food, for example. This is the cultural history, the people that started to live at the early stage of the world, as they started to, for example, the history back in 00 BC, for example, we do not know, but people start, of course, searching for food. For example, if in the Muslim, among the Muslim, we believe that, Adam was the first man, to be on the earth. So how actually Prophet Adam seek food, for example. So these are maybe gone. We couldn't get those artifacts. But as you mentioned, by written under a chapter written by James Billington, a former librarian of Congress, the posit that librarians are becoming less or not important, becoming more, not less important in the age of digital communication, because previously perhaps we understand library as artifacts, but now we are talking about library as place, It plays a key role of a healthy, participative, democratic society. So the central message of this volume is about how we can empower user in counteracting disinformation by being the librarian, putting the library putting librarian in a library. The librarian itself is a quality librarian, which has the sound foundation of a library introduction or librarianship foundation. So they learn how to get how to get the best information using the best media to have that to be disseminated among the community. Thus, it makes the librarian becoming more important. Because, for example, if I were to have my experience today, for example, yesterday we were talking about how to get the best information from the best publisher. Of course, it's a very costly manner, pricey, But why is it pricey? Why is it so pricey? Because the people that work for the past, maybe, for example, if I may take the example of Elsevier, for example. Elsevier started like, almost 100 years ago, People are already indexing, cataloging papers, which is already in a quality digital library. So if you are wanting to move forward, you need to understand that these are healthy, participative, modern democratic society. The news that we are buying must be also quality news, quality paper, quality journals. Okay. What is the effect of librarians' role in managing disinfodemic? So in itself, the disinfodemic itself, it's about being us in a rejuvenation role. We have to be above the fake news. We must become the educator. We must become a good evaluator. We must also teach on how to disseminate properly. And these are the new role that I think, perhaps, traditionally was not really done in a bigger scope of community. Now is the right time because people can see you on the, TV channels, for example. So the dissemination media, the media that is used to disseminate information is really helping the librarian to become a good educator. So if this new role, in our role, we have to collaborate with many agencies, for example, TV3, RTM, for example. Be it, go for it. I'm really challenging the young librarians, to move on, to share the best information using any media. So we become the educator. So we can become the best cultured citizen to share, to help the user to use good information. Okay. So what are the things that we can do, to combat disinformation and misinformation, this and mis, we sometimes these words, really, we are combating with words actually, the dis and the mis, and whatever media that we use, I've spoken to one publisher, previously, we should be looking at the best quality information without looking at formats. So when we access, when we analyze, when we create, when we reflect, and when we act on it, we are not looking at the media. We are not looking at formats. If I'm not mistaken, there are more than 20 formats. How can the masses know that this good information, for example, only exists in, for example, microfilm? So we, as librarians, must, demystify that act. We must, again, try to translate from that media to the media that is usually used by the community. For example, this is coming back to the social media. If social media is so popular in the society, why not we create something that is good social media so that the community can use the social media instead of sharing fake news, but sharing the quality, the good news. So this is the thing that we should be combating through, that we should be becoming the person that the librarian itself, I always put myself at the first, because if you are wrong, the librarians, if you are not cultured, we are not quality librarians, we are talking to the wrong people. We are talking about the wrong masses. We are talking about the wrong media. So the media that we have already bought, for example, the book, the microfilm, or the the CDs, has the component of fake materials, fake news, fake information. Then we are not good enough. We are not filtering. We are not the mediator. We are not the center of the community. We are not becoming a good human. So we have to combat disinformation by becoming the best people, we ourselves. So let's see about just a bit, running through of my literacy in, of course, University Malaya Library. And I mentioned about University Malaya Library that we are teaching about, 4,000 students per year, So this is in first year, for example, we call it GIG 1004 for the first year for undergraduates. And we have GIG 1010 for the degree in jurisprudence, the law of people, legal diploma in degree in law. So these two groups of people. So the evolution of the information skill course, it started in 1998, started by Datuk Zaitun, So until today, we have a total of about 90,000 plus students that graduated, actually credit, 2 credit hours, everyone, So there are many things that we have put in, for example, we have improved the course over the years, So information literacy course in Malaya is that we believe that, we are doing that. For example, I mentioned earlier, it's a lifelong skill, it's a continuum of skill, the competencies, the behavior that we look at information itself, it should be different. People that coming into the class of information skill courses at any university, for example, or any public libraries, it has to be different. People who come and enter the classroom, they should know, better how to search better information, how to use a better information, how to evaluate better information. Okay, what are the content of the course? For example, I just give this, a run through of the course content. We have, of course, the basic library skill, the searching skills, the reference management, for example, the EndNote that we have, And of course, this is the part that is quite important, the evaluation of information, where actually, if we know how to evaluate information, actually we can combat the fake news problem, So of course, again, we are talking about the ethics, whether you are using the right resources, for example, and there must not be a plagiarism in that, So we are teaching people how to use turning in, for example, and of course, again, the evaluation part itself is really important, because sometimes turning in also could not, discover plagiarism, So again, about, and as basic as, for example, we are mentioning just now, as early as early part of our years as baby, for example, we start understanding what is a good information, which is not fake. And this actually will, again, in a lifelong journey of our self, becoming more matured, more wiser. So, by evaluating a good information, you are actually reading a good information. Okay. So what are the sessions? There are already, actually we increased the sessions. So there are more than 7 sessions that we have a group of people, coming into the classes daily. So sometimes we have 1 hour session, sometimes 3 to 4 hour session, depending on the severity of the understanding of the gaps. So it depends. Different group will have a different hours. Okay. So what are the things that we learn from this, from these information skill classes? This is the IMRAD, model, So imagine, if you can, churn out graduates with this knowledge, as start as, how to have a good title, a good sexy title. A good sexy title, for example, it really makes people wanted to hear you, wanted to read through, So, it's a brief, informative, and it should be not more than 8 words, for example, those are the rule of thumb, and you have a good abstract. What is constituted in the abstract, for example? In the nutshell, an abstract itself, you should have, for example, the introduction of the topic, you should have the objective, and you should have the findings, maybe, or the methods of the study. So, and you mentioned about in the introduction, it shouldn't be longer than half a page of your papers. Sometimes if you're talking about a good article, if I, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes more than 5 pages you have to, for example, you should be, not more than 5 pages, or the most is 10 pages, So these are the things that we have, the introduction, where actually you have your study, for example, location, for example. This is in the methods, So if you are not doing the methods correctly, for example, there are also consequences. These are the things that when we hear about retraction journals, retraction articles, William, you can correct me, there are so many retracted papers. That is because of all these problems. Maybe the abstract is not right. Maybe, sometimes I hear this from some publisher, for example. The title itself doesn't, makes them want to read, and there goes into the dustbin, So the title itself makes paper, readable or non-readable, So at the end of the day, actually, when you have all this IMRAD in your module and your model, a paper that it has the IMRAD model. So actually, it's a good scholarly paper. That's what I mean, So the information skill in UM is the DNA of the students, So that's why if you see, UC Malaya is still top, I think today we have the latest news on the THES. We are also still number 1 in Malaysia, So if you see the top 5 Web of Science research area, for example, since 2015 to 2019, the number of paper that is reported until 28 August 2020 was engineering, electrical, electronics. There are about 1,500 papers there, and of course there's the material sciences and all. So this is the product of the past 90,000 students that gone through the classes. hopefully there are the students that also will continue to work with So again, here I cited some, about the most influential paper in the top research area, which is the Internet of Things. Yeah? And of course, in the wake of the fake news that followed the 2016 US presidential election, again, I have to put this in a true, because the disinfodemic was noted and quoted as early as 2016 because of that presidential election. So I think I will put back my discussion, my focus on this, my paper today, my presentation today, why we are not valuing our citizens, why we dare to give false information. So the problem is that, the real danger is not that, it's about misinformation itself, but what misinformation does to our mind, Perhaps we are reading lots and thousands and billions of information, but it doesn't make any sense to our brain. So we filter it out because we are cultured, quality people. Okay. So now, the last 5. Yeah.
Last 5. You're gonna have 3 minutes.
This is the last word. Okay. The last word is the labyrinth. Okay, why labyrinth? It's a maze. You are getting lost. It was when you have or seen a maze. For example, you play games. For example, it was the test of reason and courage to a way to find yourself by getting lost. You make yourself lost, so you find yourself. Again. So if you can find yourself, you are lost now in a fake news. So you have the courage and reason to come back to your true sense of being a good human. That means you are a good people. That's what I mean by the last labyrinth word. Yeah. So literacy in labyrinth literacy. Yeah, it's an intricate combination of paths or passages. It's difficult to find our way to reach the exit. But because we are good people, we are cultured people, we are not confusing the fake with the truth. So we can come out of the maze. Okay. So in all, my topic is about the library or the librarian free the literacy tangle. So this is what I mean about by library, literacy, the liberty, being free in the literacy tangle. So literacy cannot wait. You have to fulfill something, for example. So today we have a very, important work, becoming a good librarian, becoming a good citizen. We must have the ability and also the strength to come out from the fake news. We must come out from the maze. We must come out stronger, okay? So if you organize the literacy maze, it's providing a space of accessing, analyzing platform data for better understanding, for example, in the functioning of algorithm. In a maze, there are algorithms, people make a good maze and they have a good algorithm. If you can come out from that maze, you are good. You are better person from before you enter the maze. Okay. So this is Leonardo da Vinci's quotation. I have been impressed by the urgency of doing everything. Okay. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. So whatever you must do, you must find our way through the labyrinth of the library procedures, the library processes, the literacy processes. Okay. So before you share everything, you should be asking all these questions, so you should be free from the labyrinth of knowledge. Okay, I think I like to share this again, declutter your life, get the good information, get on with life, help stop dissemination, read as much as you can. Okay, in conclusion, shifting mode of the Malaysian librarianship. Okay, with the library activities, you have to understand that the future-ready librarians must have, the understanding from digital first to digital only now. You are challenged by that maze of so many information in the digital format, for example. But holding on to things that you do not need, is the best strength that you have to become, as a librarian. Okay, so you have to strategy to meet this library perspective. You have to. I have to highlight that the insightful support from publishers, So publishers also please support us, okay? So I think it's not about that the topic itself is also in the maze. in a library, but we have to understand the role of library and librarians in the information literacy itself is a maze, So thank you to Emerald Publishing for entrusting me to such an imperative task, So I like to thank to CEO of Pustaka Sarawak, also our current PPM president, and together we sharpen our views, and I think we can achieve better together. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Kasia. Please hold on. There are a few interesting questions waiting for your feedback. I've been replying to them. Let's start with the first one from Wahid. Wahid, question is that, Doctor, can you elaborate on the program for pregnant women in Israel? I think just now you did mention a program regarding...
I can hear you.
Sorry, are you able to hear me right now? Are you able to hear me right now?
Okay, but it's the sound is I think it's a bit.
Is it too soft for my speaker sound?
Can you repeat the question? Yeah.
Yes, of course. Right. It's a question from Wahi, and the question is that, can you elaborate on the program for pregnant women in Israel?
I think the Israel, the government of Israel should know more about that, But I heard this, if you read through some news, that actually as you learn, from cradle to grave, I think you learn also how actually many people in the in the education sectors, they understand that to make a good citizen, to have you have a objective, for example, as a government, you are responsible for your for the nation, if you wanted the nation to last longer, better, so you need to have a good citizen, the citizen that can help the government. So these are the things that I can see, if I can read. I do not remember where I read it, but I remember that as early as as soon as they know that some of the citizens are in the pregnancy months, so they will be given classes, for example, mathematics classes, so that the children will become a good mathematician. So those are the things that I know about. But you can read those in many news, I think, newspaper. Or yeah, don't trust my judgment on that, But I think I believe that the cradle to grave education. So you should start early, and you should prolong that until you die.
Yes, I totally agree on you that. Right. The second question is from Emily. She is asking that, Dr. Kasia, could you please advise what are the information cataloging framework generally used to categorize information? Any reference, any website to refer? Thank you.
Of course, Library of Congress.
Library of Congress?
That is our standard. Yes, that is our standard. Library of Congress cataloging classification, LCC.
Right.
I think you can just you can use the internet, or you can use the Google, and cataloging, classification, and all those things will come out. We have millions of information on that. But if you need to ask us, I think Dr. Rashida will be happily answer your question if you are in Sarawak. But if you are in Shah Alam or in KL, please come and meet me in I'm very willing to teach you on how to catalog. Yes, free of charge.
Once we have get out from the lockdown, I'm sure many people will look for you. Right. Another question. The third question is from Awang, Mr. Awang. Good morning, Dr. Kasia. My question is, how other people who do not hold a bachelor degree in library science can be part of librarianship?
Okay, that is a bit technical question. Actually, library science, we have diploma and also degree. Basically, for example, SUM, you wanted to become a staff in the UM library, you need a master level library science. Okay,
Right.
why not? Why not? You know, because it's not necessarily that you have that as your first degree or your first diploma. I sense that the question coming from whether you want to be a librarian in later part of your life, for example. So you do not have a basic degree in library science, but you can go to UM, of course. I'm proposing that you go to UM as and be the master's student in library science. You know, of course, you will meet Prof. Abriza, Professor, Associate Professor Kiran, and Ida and Yanti. And these are the 4 people that you can meet. You can ask them, it's only 9 months, the master's level. But why not library science as foundation? Okay, this is a good question, because we are taught things which are not taught by other people in other major, in other disciplines. Librarians are taught on how to handle the information itself. For example, the type of information. For example, I mentioned just now, there are more than 21 type of media. For example, books is a media. Manuscript is a media. Print and non-print. There are thousands of type of medias. So these are the thing that we learn. First, secondly, we understand how to, we are made to understand how to subject, classify, the subjects, So these 2 things is really the foundation of the librarianship.
Right. Interesting. The last questions, which I also find very, very interesting. I also wanted to hear your thoughts on this. Now, there's a statement and there's a question follow up. I'm going to say the statement. The statement is that determine the extent of information needed. And the question is, when relating with the targeted audience, example in social media, we should have categories like for above 18 years old, example like in TVs or in cinemas, PG-13 and so, if I can elaborate that. Here might be for diploma holder and above, example. So doctor, can I have your opinion on this?
Okay. This is interesting, how the, FINAS, I think the film Negara is actually handling the above 18 or below 18, for example, there's a lot of discussion on this actually, I'm not in FINAS, so I don't think I can, involve with the discussion with the FINAS, but if you understand the level of understanding of people below 18, for example, why people are, for example, in the human rights, US, saying that after 18, you can go away from, move away from the home of your parents, so you can go out and, the adventure is out there, so go out and find your life, your own life. But, I think in Islam also, they mentioned about how people from, for example, before 7 years old, they actually taught not to do things actually, not as late as 18. 18 is already late actually, And at 7 years old, I think we are already a very genius person, So I think this the thing that we are talking about under 18 or above 18, I think I personally think that people need to think again, why above 18? I think it's above 7 is good, bad enough, for example, you're giving your above 7 years old son things which is not supposed to be shared as. So they are really very, very, very brilliant, So I think, I come back to that. I'm not so sure about this above 18 and below 18. But I believe that people as early as 7 years old is already a genius.
Right. When you talk about 18, I'm still thinking about what have I done when I was 18 years old. most probably still playing Guli. Most probably Guli with.
But yeah, like the Finland is doing, you know, so play until you really, until about 10 years old, you know,
Right,
because
yes,
learning by
in
playing
Finland.
is also another way of educating yourself. So
Right,
that's another model actually you can learn from. So that's the Finnish education model.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, before we end the sessions, allow me to just say a few words. To me, I think it's very inspiring sharing on the librarian perspective in terms of planning, preparing, training, retraining, combating information and media literacy. I personally, I always find Dr. Kasia sharing very relates to our local content, our local context, our community, and using examples from her experience. When you share the 42 librarians in UM that have been conducting and training, teaching 4,000 undergraduates on information literacy, that is a very well done job on that, really well done job. So we in Emerald, we want to take the opportunity to thank you and also we wanted to celebrate with Dr. Kasia and UNC Malaysia because as you know, UNC Malaysia is being awarded high research output year 2020 in Malaysia, which is the top high
Thank
research
you.
output.
Well done, UM. Yes.
Well done, UN, yes, and also Dr. Kasia and team. We thank you for the partnership journey that we have been together for many, many years. Right. I think it was a really good sharing that should end the sessions. Before we leave the sessions for the attendees, Pustaka Negeri Sarawak would like you all to fill in the feedback form. The link is actually available in the chat. You can click on the link and we hope you can share your thoughts, your feedbacks, or your surveys in the feedback form. Thank you so much. With that, we have to say thank you to Dr. Kasia for her very interesting and inspiring sharing today. Please stay tuned. The webinar is not it's not ended yet. The next session speaker is actually me. I'll be sharing on some publisher perspective on the Disinfodemic versus expert briefing. With that, then thank you, Dr. Kasia.
Thank you, Tucker. Thank you, Emerald.
Yeah. Right. I will wait for Dr. Kasia to end her sharing. A very good morning to all that are still in the webinar sessions today. Are you able to hear me? Sorry. Oh, yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Valentino. Right. A very good morning. The next speaker, which is me, William Law. I'm the business manager from Emerald Publishing. And my title for my sharing today is Disinfodemic versus expert briefing. Just as Dr. Kasia sharing today. Do write in your questions in the Q&A chat, and I will be following up with my thoughts, perhaps some sharing some answers to your questions. With that, let me go into that. Right. First of all, a very big shout out, a very big thank you to Pustaka Negeri Sarawak for having us, both Dr. Kasia and Emerald, in this week for the Media and Information Literacy Week itself. Thank you to you all. And I understand that during Dr. Kasia sessions, we have reached the limit people that are joining the Zoom. So quite a number of them are actually joining us via the live sessions via the YouTube and also Facebook channel. Thank you. Just 2 slides about Emerald. I'm not going to talk too much on Emerald today. So who we are, and if you doesn't know us, then now you know. Emerald Publishing is founded in 1967, Bradford, West Yorkshire. We are a UK-based company. Our core subject has always been in business, management, economics. We also have a subject across the education, engineering, library, information science, and even health and social care too. in our holdings, we are actually a small and medium publisher in UK. If you to compare with big publishers in the world, we only have 300 over journals, more than 2005 ebooks, digital books, more than 2005 teaching cases with teaching notes, and more than 2,000 excellent briefings resources that helped the research community, that helps academicians in their teachings and learning resources. Over 30 million Emerald resources were downloaded in 2019, which is averagely 82,000 a day. Emeralds are known for supporting early career researchers and offer support to all authors throughout each stage of publication process. So this is the issue one. The one that I would like to share with you all is that in Emerald, we have been championing real impact. So what is real impact? We refer to real impact as provable effects of research in the real world. We launched Real Impact to call on research community to come together and break down the barriers so that the research could reach out to the community, to reach out to the policymaker of today. And UN SDG, we have been supporting and also a founding signatory of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, UN SDG, Publishers Compact, which is designed to inspire action among publishers and accelerate progress to achieve the SDG goals by 2030. This makes a clear commitment to the underlying principles of developing sustainable practice and acting as champion of the SDG during the decade of action. So we are actually committed to create new impact barometers that more accurately reflect the modern research era. In Emerald, we are also one of the first publishers to sign up DORA. DORA actually stands for Declarations of Research Assessment. And basically it's a journal-based matrix that often, signing DORA is a natural extension of Emerald commitment to drive positive change, working with partnership with communities across and beyond the research ecosystems. So, yep, and we are also proud to receive 2 awards this year, 2020 Independent Publisher Guild. That the awards is Independent Publisher of the Year and also Academic and Professional Publisher of the Year. So this is the award. And how about Malaysia? Where are we in Malaysia? In last year, September 2019, so this is our team that are in colorful shirts, green and purple, visiting shelter for women survivors of human trafficking. Those that have been cheated or have been, they are brought to Malaysia, and we should encourage them, these survivors, to take part in activities that we conduct together with them. A game of dominoes on how to manage time and overcome their frustrations and work together. And also some demographic view of Malaysia. In terms of number of authors and editors using the data in 2019, we are very proud to announce that we have 80% of the topography here. We have more than 1,000 authorships in our journal, and we have more than 150 that are serving as the editor-in-chief, associate editors, editorial advisory board members, and some of the editorial members in our portfolio. We also have about 86 that are serving as book authors and also editors from Malaysia alone. One of the biggest award that Emerald have been given in Malaysia is that in UITM, University Technology Mara, berada di kedudukan pertama dunia bagi Emerald High Usage Award tahun 2020. Congratulations to UITM for being the Emerald High Usage Award 2020 and also Emerald High Research Output Award 2020 as well. So this is where we are in Malaysia. And I think, right, I also made a very special slide regarding about Sarawak. If there are Sarawakians over here that are actually listening. So yes, so this is one of the example to show to you that we do have authors from UNIMAS, from UCTS, from Ketin, Sarawak, and also government entities, example, Department of Sarawak State Health from the branch Sarawak, right? And also from Sarawak Research Society, a research society here in Malaysia. So that actually have been contributing and doing research, publish their research articles, their research output with Emerald. So this is a very interesting read on consumer behavior towards pharmaceutical products, a model development that was published in 2nd September last year itself. And what do we have besides then the authorships? We also have people that write about Malaysia and also data regarding data from Sarawak itself. Example, variation in economic growth across states in Malaysia that covering Sarawak states as well. And MyCrest, embedded framework for enhancing adoption of green office building development in Sarawak. So you can see that the authors are, not from Sarawak, but they are actually, write surveys, they actually write data regarding about Sarawak topography and demographic. Besides journal, we also have books. In Emerald, we have books. Example, this is one of the example when a nation's leader is under siege, managing personal reputation and engaging in public diplomacy, which talk about Malaysia scandal, the one of the biggest scandal that we all know about, 1MDB. You are correct. So this book is actually addressed to 2015 1MDB scandal, where the 1MDB have come under the international scrutiny of the more than US 11 billion debt that it actually gotten in. So these are also relates to Malaysia and also having the reports from the Sarawak reports, if you still remember about that. So this is a very good book to actually read, and you can find the books and journal available in Pustaka Negeri Sarawak to read that. Besides that, we also have our resource, example on expert briefings on Malaysia Eastern states, which push for more autonomy regarding about our recent elections in the Sabah states and more outlooks for Sarawak and Sabah states, right? And in Sarawak, we also have our biggest support, our brand ambassador, Associate Professor Dr. Hiram Tint, Sarawakian. He is currently Associate Professor at Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management, UCSI, Sarawak Campus, Malaysia. He has been appointed this year as Emerald Ambassador in East Asia region. So if you have any research related or any real impact things, do write into us, do reach out to us or to Dr. Hiram, and we should be able to help you with that. So that is just a quick introduction of Emerald and how Emerald in Malaysia and also in Sarawak. Now we go into our topic today, Disinfodemic. This page is very interesting. If Dr. Kasia is around, I would like to say that we are basically quoting the same source. So most people, if you doesn't know what it means of disinfodemic is, it's actually a term on disinformation to broadly refers to content that is false and has potentially negative impact. These impacts can have fatal consequences during a pandemic. So this is a quote on Disinfodemic, deciphering COVID-19 disinformation, published by UNESCO. Like Dr. Kasia has been repeatedly sharing in her talk just now, if information is empowering, then this information is disempowering. So we should be, reject fake news, and reject fake news. So under this UNESCO disinfodemic information, I do have two print screens that I would like to share with you as brief. For more detail, please click on the link and you should be able to download a PDF copy of this information. There are four distinctive key of this infodemic format types. That's so what are these infodemic format types looks about? So they are frequently smuggle falsehoods into people's consciousness by focusing on belief rather than reason. So they do not, they do not really prioritize reason. They just say what they believe in, and feelings instead of deductions. So they just pour in their feelings. They feel sad, they feel angry, they feel anxious, but not so much on the logic or the scientifics of it. They also rely on prejudice, polarizations, identity politics, which means that influence of politics and so, as well as credulity, cynicisms, and individual search for simple sense making. So there are four types, which is covering on the emotion, narrative, construct, and limits. So what is this? So this is actually often mixed with strong emotional language, lies, incomplete information, and personal opinion that also along with element of truth. These formats are particularly hard to uncover on closed messaging apps. So an example on this would be WhatsApp messaging. So during Malaysia lockdown on COVID-19, right, there are a lot of communication via WhatsApp messaging, videos, Facebook, Instagram, and so most of these have been viral shared, but who can say for sure that it is the truth of it? So no one is actually able to tell whether the statements or even the paper from the government is it true or not true. So this is one of the example of that. Fabricated websites and authoritative identities. There are a lot of entity, either it's a people or it's a company or even governments, right? That actually have fake government website, fake company websites that have been publishing fake news, have been sharing or viraling all the fake information around. So this is actually one of the very distinctive format types we can see during our lockdown period. Fraudulent, altered fabrications, and decontextualized images and video. So this is very, very obvious, right? You can see one of the examples that I can share will be the Donald Trump videos. If you have been following US COVID-19 handling, there are a lot of videos, tweets coming from the government of the United States itself. So are they real or are they fake news? So these are some of the things that put the readers, the viewers like us, always on the lookout, always on the thinking. The last one, which is the disinformation infiltrators on orchestrated campaigns. This looks very much like a hacker, and you are correct. These normally usually associated with cyber attacks as an example to actually attack on certain agenda or certain campaigns or even government websites, government policies, so and so. It's a very good read. You guys can actually have a read into that. Another key things about this infodemic would be there are 9 key themes of this infodemic. So this research identified the 9 key themes present in content associated with this infodemic, and frequently they are actually featured racism and also xenophobia, from the origin spread of COVID-19, where it's actually from, to false and misleading statistics. Even the government of the United States are using misleading statistics. It's not wrong, but it's actually misleading. What it has been impacting on economy, we all know about that. Discreditings of journalism and credible news outlets, even CNN is actually called fake news. So that is a very, very interesting thing. Medical science, symptoms, diagnosis, and treatments. Even the medical, from the medical committee, they are always, arguments on how to handle COVID-19 properly, mask or no mask, impact on society and environment, politicizations. This also happens not just in US, but sneak preview is also happened in Malaysia as well. Content driven by fraudulent financial gains. It's all about money making, especially for the pharmaceutical company, and celebrity focused disinformation. So it's a good read. You guys can actually have a read into that. And this is from BBC News that was published in 15 June. The title for this this article is "Instagram will overtake Twitter as a news source," which I find very, very interesting title. That's actually why I come to read into that. So this report shows trust in sources of COVID-19 information by using data average of 6 countries in April 2020. From the dark green, which shows the level of trust, with a light green, it shows the level of neither, they do not trust, they either trust or they do not trust it, and the red, which is does not trust that. So from here, you can see that very interesting to show that scientists, doctors, National Health Organization, and Global Health Organizations actually plays a very crucial and important role. And people, citizens, residents, and people around the world have the highest trust compared with other sources into that. So this is we know about that, but I'm also wanted to pinpoint this very interesting fact that if you were to look over right here, search engine, video sites, social media, and also messaging apps, even though almost about 40% or close to 40% of the people, of the survey people that answer that, says that they do not trust the search engine, they do not trust the video sites, they do not trust the social media and also messaging apps. Even though 40% says it doesn't support that, doesn't trust it, but with the combine of trust and neither, it's actually about a huge percentage of almost 60% and above would actually say that they still trust search engine, video sites, social media messaging, and they may read and on the neither here, which means that they may actually read, they may actually follow, they may actually subscribe to the social media and get information from all these things. So this is a very, very interesting report to show the trust in sources of COVID-19. This is just an example from COVID-19 to voting, which was published in USA Today on 5th of October this month itself. So the first sentence on this column is President Donald Trump, the nation's chief disinformation officer. So he has been, reportedly downplaying the pandemic and also spreading misinformation. And most of the time, his comments are also against the advice of his own top experts in his own country. And besides the international news, we also have news from our local context here. Fake news on COVID-19 is still rampant, which was published in NST, May 9, 2020. So over here, you can see that Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob was actually reporting on May 18th. The MCMC have opened 262 investigation papers on fake news in Malaysia, and out of that, 179 on that particular time is still under investigation. 29 has been brought to court. 11 has been issued warning, and 18 has been pleaded guilty. So not just international, but in Malaysia as well, we can also see that too. So with all this infodemic information now, how immoral helps the community, helps to provide credibility and valid resources to our readers and so. So Emerald and expert briefing. Yay! COVID-19, we are here to help. On May 19 this year, our CEO, Vicky Williams, released a statement, complete statement on how Emerald, we are here to help, how Emerald can help by doing what we do best, by publication of research cases, books, and also other resources as well. So to increase the research output and research impact, Emerald actually collaborates with the journal editors, book editors to release call for papers so that we are here to encourage our researchers to exploring and to research more about this pandemic outbreak and its impact. So this is actually one of the big things that we have done from earlier this year until right now. Another big move that Emerald have been supporting is that we have made and released extensive collection of resources, which is over here with our research collections. Then anyone can actually access without subscriptions. So all these things is actually open to public, open for access for anyone to actually read about that. We would like to encourage the public. We like to encourage students, lecturers, government servants, policymakers of the day, just anyone to read and to understand more about the pandemic. So it covers from the case studies, impact on business, remote working, the normal norm right now, education under the isolation, healthcare, social impact, so and so, so and so. Over here, I would like to actually focus on the COVID-19 expert briefing. So what is COVID-19 expert briefings? Our expert briefings are impartial and actionable responses to the current coronavirus outbreak. And these contents are actually delivered and powered by Oxford Analytica. You can actually visit our Emerald.com website and for more of our latest daily briefing or the previous briefing that we released. In expert briefings, we have 3 formats altogether. We have the expert briefing format, the long form, which is a long form that covers, we have comprehensive analysis about the topic itself. We also have a short form, which is called the executive summary, as it says, summary. So it is a short form and a very, very easy to read and also to follow. And we have the third format, which is called the graphic analysis, the one that I love the most. So it has a very visual format, very, very colorful and comprehensive format where we can read from a graphical or visual point of view and how to understand the topic better. Expert briefings are peer review analysis, like Dr. Kasia was just saying. How do we know that the resources, the news that you are consuming are not fake news and so. So one of the points that I actually want to make here is that under Emerald, even our expert briefings are peer reviewed. So what do you mean by peer review? Peer review basically a process to actually ensure the unbiasedness and also ensure the independently of the authors and also of the reviewers as well. So on the global event, commentary on the applications that we have. So expert briefing also have more than 1,000 experts, academics, policymakers, regulators, industrial leaders, and also experts in expert analysts in Oxford as well. So because of the peer review analysis process, so and also because of the confidentiality, so we do not release the name of the authors or even the reviewers. So it gives the contributors freedom and also without fear to express their view as well. The intentional reach of the network also gives the best mind of any political economy subject to share their analysis and also their view on the current issue. So if I may bring you some print screens on how does expert briefing actually looks like. So this is actually some of the example. The recent, very recent published, which is on 21st of October from the United States. US recovery of GDP and jobs will vary widely by region, which is actually impacted by COVID-19. So from the international point of view, COVID-19 deepens the risk of corruption in healthcare. Now, this is actually expected even early of the year, where the involvement of private company, pharmaceutical company, even government in the health industry. So corruption is always the biggest risk. One of the biggest risks, that actually going to going to be a very big struggle for governments around the world to handle the COVID-19. How about other country? Example from India. India would face a huge, testings in March itself on the COVID-19 testing, and in the Southeast Asia. So COVID-19 during March time. If you know, in March time, Singapore actually have the highest rate of infections, COVID-19 infections. So COVID-19 may hurt Singapore the most during the particular time of publication itself. So these are some of the things that you can actually have a read. And one of the very example that I actually got, which is here, global COVID-19 vaccine to be rolled out, that will be rolled out, will face many hurdles. The reason why I actually put over here is that Pustaka Negeri Sarawak is running quizzes this week. And William, I also have prepared 2 questions under my presentation. So this is my second question. So you can actually look into over here. So under this expert briefing, you can see that the expert briefing covers the event summary of what is happening, what is the significance of this topic is all about, and a huge chunk of analysis from the experts, from the authors on this particular topic, and some future considerations. They even put in some analysis on future considerations, and they even put in their conclusion remarks. It's a very, very, very extensive reading of briefings about these selected topics, which has been used by government policy maker of the day, by the national security of the government of the day, to try to understand the world better, to understand the topic better by all these briefings, right? So the second format, if you were still following, was the executive summary. The first one of the expert briefing. The second format is the executive summary, which is just a summary, very easy to read, very easy to follow. So these are some of the examples regarding about COVID-19. Interest rate may fall as Brazil recovery falters, which is published in 29 October, which is yesterday, which was just released yesterday. And this is very, very interesting. 27 October, last 3 days ago, a summary about our prime ministers. Not sure if he would, get the support for the budget in Malaysia. So what others that actually coming from Malaysia? So about COVID-19, right? Time itself, the Malaysia survey results. The survey results actually masked breathing problems back in 3rd of September, and also in March time, COVID-19 may even help to keep our Prime Minister in power. So these are some of the very, very interesting reads that you can find it in social media, but these are actually contributed by the experts around the world, even from our own regions here, their view and their analysis as well. So let us go into a very example of this executive summary. COVID-19 executive summary as example. Malaysia Premier cannot be sure of support for budget, which was published in last 2-3 days ago, October 27th. So under the UMNO today actually reiterates their support for our prime ministers, administrations having last night their Supreme Council meetings and so and so, so and so, so and so. What I personally like best about the executive summary is that almost all the executive summary will have a link at the bottom here for historical read. What it means by that is that it's just like reading a newspaper or reading, magazines or even Facebook medias and so. It's always a post. How do you, follow back the story? How can you, go back to where the story is originated from? So as a summary here, we'll have this link here where when you found that you actually find this interesting read and you would like to read more about this topic, where this topic comes from, originated from. So this link will actually brings you to the earlier topic, earlier history, earlier summary that actually written, or even earlier briefings that actually refers to. So like me as a public reader, a public journal reader, I always, going to able to follow this story from one to the origin story to another origin story, and so which helps me to understand the story even better, even in a fuller manner. So this is something that I actually like the most. And the last, the third format that we have, which is called the COVID-19 graphic analysis. You can see that some example, like the recent one from Latin America, which is stands for South America. The concerns over rule of law will rise in the post-pandemic. So they have a graphic analysis about that. And also from the international news, pandemic response threatens climate funding shortfall. Well, we also knows about that due to the pandemic, but government budgets has been reduced and also affecting our world goal, our common goal. One of it will be the climate change, to battle climate change. So what are the examples from our Malaysia context? In the graphic analysis, you will see that in this month, 8 October, in last 2 months, 8 October, Malaysia political alliances will be unstable. And also in 17 March, Muhyiddin partners hold all the aces in Malaysia. So this is not a briefing. If you does not, if you are not a word reader, but you are a graphic reader, so this actually helps you to read, to understand that better. Let's go to the example. So this is one of the example on graphic analysis. The title is Malaysia's political alliances will be unstable. So Parliament's lower house features several alliances and pact, some of them intersecting as well. The current government, the current oppositions, right? You can have a timeline of key events in 2020. What happened in February and March? What is actually happening in May? Mahathir is actually expelled from that. July, August, September, and also even up to right now. So the seats are in legislations, so and so, so and so. So with the graphic analysis, it also comes with a very point form, impacts, and also conclusions for readers to understand the view better. So this is something that to share with everyone on the COVID-19's graphical analysis and so. And I think my last 2 slides, which is here, as I was also promoting quizzes by Pustaka Negeri Sarawak. Please do join. If Pustaka Negeri Sarawak is able to, can you put in the link as well for the participants to join in the quiz too? So Dr. Kasia have 3 questions. She has provided 3 questions for quizzes, and from me, I have 2. So this is my 2 questions. My question number 1 is, Emerald Expert Briefing is powered by. So as I was actually, sharing a number of times, Expert Briefings analysis of impact and implication of COVID-19 by Emerald Publishing is actually powered by the Oxford Analytica. And my question number 2, what are the challenges in rolling out COVID-19 vaccine globally? all below answers are true, except for. So these are all the true answers. So you can go to the quiz and you can recheck that which is the one is actually not listed over here. So this is the hint for the quiz. Right. That is actually the sharing from my time today. I will go and check on the questions right now. Sorry, allow me just to check the questions here. All right, we have a few questions over here by Mr. Awang. Mr. William, my question is, what can we do to ensure a home journal of Pustaka to be listed in Emerald Journal Citation Index? What can we ensure a home journal of Pustaka to be listed in Emerald Journal Citation Index? Right, I do not really understand the questions completely, but if I can recap the questions, I think the questions is saying that Pustaka resources, Pustaka home journal, Pustaka resources, how can Pustaka home journal can be, available in Emerald platform? Yes. So if that is the question itself, then yes, we do have collaborating with University of the Day, Government of the Day, Libraries of the Day, where their journals are actually listed under the Emerald platform. I'll give you an example. The one that we have been working with ISRA, International Sharia Islamic Finance. So their home-based journal, their journal is actually collaborated and currently published under the Emerald platform. So their journal has actually reached out from the institutional base. Now it's actually go into international worldwide base as well. So yes, we do have it. It's actually under a service called the Emerald Publishing Services. Do talk to us and we can actually discuss more on how to enable that. Sorry, one of the attendee that doesn't have a name, if CNN, traditional media, also is being labeled as fake news, how can we differentiate what's true or authentic, what's fake anymore? Any comment or advice on this? Right. First of all, I would disagree. CNN is a traditional media. CNN has been, yes, CNN has been along for many years, even decades as well. But I in person, I actually also follow CNN via the YouTube channel, and I would say that this is my personal view. I would say that the news sharings are because it's actually being moderated. It is a media platform where there is a news anchor that playing the mediator role, that are playing the asking the question role. So you ask the questions and invite the people. So those questions, some are biased in a sense, some are in general to get a very fair discussion point of view. So I am not sure how can we actually say that they are fake news, but surely we can do research on their statements or on their sharing by their attendees or by their interviewees. We can actually do that via the Emerald platforms. You can see Emerald platforms, we have the expert briefing that I showed up earlier that actually talks about the day-to-day international news. You can find a lot, I would say majority of the briefings are coming from the United States and also the European countries. And you can find all these things that relate back to stories that are also shared in the CNNs and so. So this is just my personal advice on that. And I would also like to share another point on CNN is that I love watching CNN on one of the segments which is called the fact check, especially on their elections. The election is coming on 3rd of November. There are a lot of campaignings ongoing there, and also the presidential debates between Biden and Trump. And after that, I mean, a lot of media are hosting the live sessions. And after that, CNN also, have a chance to come up with their own fact checking. They actually got their own and also third-party fact checkers to actually fact check all of this. So this is actually very interesting things that we can see. Okay. Before I have one question from Mr. Wahid again on trusted sources. I came across a talk by a medical doctor who talked broadly on the pandemic and giving advices on what to do or otherwise. Worth listening, very informative indeed. But in the end of the day, there appeared a note, personal opinion from Wahid. For me, this is unofficial medical doctor. All right, has no authoritative to talk at all about this matter. Yes, in the first place, as his opinion can be different from official opinion by those in authority, such as Director General of Health. William, can I have your opinion on this? Well, yes, I do agree on what the examples that you actually mentioned on that. Um, People may query, me and you are querying. So what is his qualifications? I mean, what actually prompt him or her, sorry, the medical doctor, how we should prompt him, the medical doctor, which is the so-called the unofficial, right? If I get your question correctly. So for the unofficial doctor to, talk about, to share about the information and things like that. So my view would be that if someone, whether it's an unofficial or even me, myself, William, over right here, are sharing information about COVID-19, if my information or my contacts or Dr. Kasia, contacts or presentations, where you can actually find the link and you can actually find where it was, the sources, where are they actually from. So you as a reader, you can always fact check us as a speaker. So I'll give you an example, right? So this is my slides. And so these are some of the examples that I actually have pulled out. And let me see this example. So how do you know that I am using, bias approach, or am I actually sharing things that I felt is a fake news? So if you see that I actually have a link over here. To get the readers, to fact check that, if you want to read more about it, and you can actually see more about that too. So what my opinion on this would be that it is advisable. It is for the best for humanity to have the official authority, example, the Director General of Health, to share the actual facts, the data, how many cases that we have currently in Malaysia, how many have recovered, what is the number of deaths yesterday, and how to actually counter the COVID-19. We should always follow all this from the official authority or the qualified authority. But if you wanted to, reiterate that, I would think that's okay. I'm also welcome that, but not, sharing fake news. You as a reader, you as a sharer, also have the responsibility. Like Dr. Kasia was saying earlier, I wanted to also repeat that you, as a person that is literate, has the responsibility to read, to fact check that, to be, responsible on what you are sharing, what you are sharing, or whether this information is what call that, fact check, or it's actually true, or is it disinfodemic as well. So sorry, this is just some of my personal opinion on to that. I think I answered quite a number of the questions over here. Right. Now it's 11:55 right now. Okay. So I hope that you guys can explore that. Most of the content that I shared over right here are available in our emerald.com. If you have laptop with you, you can just pull out your browser and you can type in www.emerald.com. You can actually browse the resources under our journal, books, cases, and even the expert briefing as well. You can find a lot of free available resources on COVID-19 available for you all. If you are in Sarawak, please do visit Pustaka Negeri Sarawak. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, if I'm mistaken, they have 3 branches. The HQ is in Kuching. They have Miri and Cebu right now. And they actually opened for public readers, for researchers, for students to use the resources and facility. So if you happen to be a Sarawakian or a Malaysian as well, you can even register an account as their online member, and you can also access to the resources over in Pustaka Negeri Sarawak itself. I would like welcome everyone to go in, have a try. If there's any questions on the Pustaka Negeri Sarawak resources, please reach out to Pustaka Negeri staff. If you have any questions regarding about Emerald, real impact, UN SDGs, how we actually helped our researchers and institutional to expand the resource outreach, their research output to more community-based, local research societies. And so also reach out to us. You can reach out to me via my email at wloh@emerald.com. Yeah. So that is actually sharing for me. With that, I would have end these sharing sessions. I hope it's benefit the audience over here. And right, I think nothing more since I'm also the MC. So I will say thank you to Pustaka Negeri Sarawak for this chance again. Thank you so much. Thank you to Dr. Kasia, if she's still here, being the invited speaker on her sharing. I learned a lot from her today, and also from her previous sharing too. And with that, I hope everyone stay safe, take care, and yeah, please enjoy the resources by the Emerald Publishing. Thank you. Have a good day and have a good weekend. And bye-bye. I'll pass the floor back to Pustaka Negeri Sarawak.
Bye-bye. Thank you, William.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hi, Dr. Kasia. Yes, you're around. Right. So yeah, so that's the interesting things on that. Really, thank you to you.
Thank you, Mr. William.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. With that, I will end the sessions and thank you.
Thank you, Pustaka. Thank you, Emerald.
Thank you, Dr. Kasia. Thank you.
Thank you, Faini. Thank you, Dr. Kasia. We'll see you in UM too.
Have a nice day. Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Pustaka. Thank you, Emerald.
Thank you, Dr. Kasia. Thank you.
Thank you, Faini. Thank you, Dr. Kasia. We'll see you in UM too.
Have a nice day.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.